This comment is the correct answer. It is the correct answer, right? And the original post, the thing that I think is so disheartening is that there was such an opportunity for education. There was such an opportunity to start a conversation, right? If you are going to sit here and talk about all of the ways that we are out of embodiment with our feminine energy and with our womb space, a prime opportunity would have been to have had a conversation about tampons, for example, right? And how harmful so many tampons and the companies that are producing them are for women's health, right? And how that disrupts our reproductive system and our reproductive health and our endocrine system. What a way to be able to educate and have a conversation. Instead, what happened was we went classic patriarchy, and we went shaming for women for the choices that they make. And we went appearance control. Ooh, religious programming and cult behavior, love to do that one. Absolutely love to do that one. And so now we're in toxic purity culture, right? If you don't fit the standard status quo of what purity means, i.e. Victoria's Secret undergarments and fake nails, right? You're not feminine enough. When really, every single female gets to decide what being embodied in her feminine energy looks like, right? I love this comment. There are a million ways to express femininity. Our collective group trauma and overflooded cortisol levels are more alarming than the manicure I'm wearing, and fucking snaps to that, right? And so when we start talking about toxic purity culture, that's where I come into play. So for those of you who don't know, hi, my name is Kelsey. I'm a spicy educator, a somatic sex and intimacy coach, and I specialize in alchemizing trauma and conditioning, patriarchy, I'm looking at you here, into pleasure. Let's get into it. So when we start to have conversations around things like appearance control, right? And this notion that you have to meet a certain aesthetic in order to be embodied in our feminine energy, what is happening is you start to really perpetuate the narrative, right? Let's go back to the tampon example for a minute, okay? I can sit here as an educator and say, hey, I think that we should be having some conversations about tampons and what other options that we might have, right? So I free bleed. I haven't worn a tampon in years since I was educated in how toxic they were for me. And that was a decision that I wanted to make for myself. My body never really even liked tampons. And so I much prefer period panties. I much prefer free bleeding, right? That is something that feels good for me. That is a way that I get to embody my feminine energy, right? And I take the first day off of my bleed so that I have that opportunity, I have that luxury, and I have that privilege to be able to do so and kind of nest in and nuzzle into my feminine energy, right? This is where it becomes patriarchy conditioning. This is where it becomes toxic purity culture, is I can say that as a female, I am choosing not to wear tampons. And it does not make any other woman any less of a woman because she chooses to wear them. See, that's where we get into the issue with things, right? Is you telling other women that they are not good enough because they wear fake nails and Victoria's Secret undergarments. Like, let's be so for real with ourselves. It's toxic purity culture. It's appearance control. Like, I'm having flashbacks